Respected, known, and renowned. It's the Kevin Kennedy law firm with Kevin Kennedy himself.
You know, you're a lot of fun. Casey, when we're on the air, we're trying to do our best to answer these questions, and electricity's bouncing throughout this entire studio.
We're buddies. We have a good time every time. But we should do this every day. But you know what? I think we have enough questions to get to every day. The lines are lighting up, and we are doing our best to get to every single one of them in the order that they're coming in. So let's go ahead and get right back to it. You ready?
I'm ready.
All right, let's get started up. All right, what's your question for us tonight? Thanks for calling in. Hello.
Yes.
Hi, you're on air. What's your question?
Okay. Yes. Can you tell me, I've been married for 8 years, and my husband's has a deceased wife, and she's on the mortgage. The mortgage company won't take it off. And I thought if the person was deceased, it would automatically come off, or could take it off if you had something to prove that she was deceased.
You know, one of the things that we need to look at, you really need to go to a lawyer and let him read the deed. If the deed says it was tenants by the entirety, it's interpreted that should one or the other die, all that land then becomes vested in the surviving spouse. And if it was a tenants in common, then there could be a division and somebody else may have to get. So the first thing we must look at is get the deed, and that will help determine on this mortgage situation what to do. But it's an excellent question. And what do I say? Take a proactive approach. Don't wait till your husband passes away or has a problem. You move and get it answered now.
All right, great. Let's go ahead and get to our next caller. You are on Open Line. What's your question for us tonight?
Hi, I had a child in state custody, and DHS had ordered for me to pay child support and medical insurance for that child.
All right.
So I surrendered my parental rights last year of the child, and in the state of Tennessee, there's a law that states that once you surrender your parental rights, you no longer are responsible for the medical nor the child support.
Yes.
So it did stop, but then in April of this year, for some reason, DHS picked it back up, and I was able to get it resolved. But what they did was they did stop the child support, but they continued with a medical, and they sent another medical court order to my employer. And so I'm still in the process now of getting it, alleviated. But my question is, DHS is telling me that they are not going to refund me the $800+ that I paid in the medical costs, and I'm wondering, is this, right for them to do?
Okay, here I'll hit it. It sounds like you got to be a glitch in the system, because you were correct in your assessment as termination of parental rights. You're no longer responsible for that. So once that court order, you have that in your hand, it'll say signed March of 2016, then you've got your evidence right there. Get a certified copy of that, and you can go to court, and any judge would probably honor that situation, bar some kind of circumstances of fraud or something that was done incorrectly. Yes, you do have a claim against them to receive that money. If they don't, I would file a complaint, a formal complaint, with the Tennessee Department of Children's Services Commissioner at the state of Tennessee. I'd start there, and it will come down, and I think that matter will become resolved.
Great question. We appreciate these calls coming in tonight. Let's go ahead and get to our next one. You are live on Open Line. What can we help you with this evening? Hello.
Hello, I'm Joan. Is that?
Yeah,
yes,
you're on
Joan.
Open Line.
Go
Hi.
right ahead.
Oh, okay. I had ovarian cancer. I went ahead and got a lawyer, talcum powder.
Yes.
Johnson & Johnson.
Yes.
Well, anyway, 2 years ago, I was 20 on the list. I called yesterday, and they have 2,000 people on their list. And I was just wondering, when's the end of it? I asked them, they have no idea. I can't get any information from them whatsoever.
Yes, ma'am, and we're so sorry to hear about the cancer. The truth is, they're trying to put together a class action against Johnson & Johnson. That's a bunch of gray areas. How long will the lawsuit take to resolve? I don't know, you don't know, even the judges and the attorneys all involved. We do know that if you don't make a claim, you're going to be forever barred. So the fact that you're in this organization is a good thing. And the fact that the organization is not calling you back and not informing you is a bad thing. So I would try to pursue those and see if I couldn't find out where their headquarters are, who their supervisors are, and get them on the phone. If worse comes to worse, you can discharge those lawyers and go to another.
Great advice. All right, let's go ahead and get to line 3, our next question tonight. Hi there.
Hello?
Hi.
Hello, go right ahead.
Yes, I've only got one quick question.
All righty.
I have a service dog, and I'd like to know if the church can not let you bring a dog in when it's your service dog, and you've got orders from the doctor that you have to have a service dog for your disability.
Yeah, and that's very similar to the other question. You have the right to take those dogs in public places. You do. And so it's a lot of gray areas. If that dog ever showed any sign of viciousness, then those people that are in charge of that facility would have an opportunity to say this is going beyond what's reasonable. The question is, what is reasonable? They have to protect the public, and what's in the public's best interest is safety for children and whatnot. So again, we have to take each case individually, and I would say the judges will always interpret on the side of safety and caution. And so that's the best way I can answer that. But yes, I think you could pursue it, and I think they would be wrong if they just denied you on those problems.
Yeah, great question, great question. All right, welcome to Open Line. What's your question for Kevin tonight?
Hi, I live in an apartment, and moving is not an option for a whole host of reasons, and anybody that would suggest that I don't think has ever moved. I mean, it's more than just moving, you know.
We understand.
It's really easy to tell people what to do with their lives when you don't know the whole story. I've survived several changes of management in this complex. It's a pretty nice area and so forth. And any problem, including what I'm about to tell you, I figure that if I just have to live with it, then there'll be a new manager come along. And
you're right. Go ahead.
So anyway, but my question is this new management, I am just not getting along at all with them. I pay my rent on time. I do everything that's expected. And they refuse to tell me who the owners are of the property, because they're saying they're doing the job just fine. I don't need to know that. I suspect they're investors and they don't want to be bothered. But
well, I'll tell you, I can answer that question for you. You can go to the Register of Deeds, and you can put in the address, and it will show you who the owners of that property is registered to. You know, if it's a corporation, you can further go to the Secretary of State, find out who filed the charter. So, you know, in some of my companies, it's Kevin Kennedy LLC is one of the companies that I own that carries some of my real estate. Well, I just chose to use my own name, but I could have used ABC LLC. But if you checked at the state of Tennessee, it's going to show my name, and you say, that's Kevin Kennedy's property, and we know how to get to him.
That's right, Kevin Kennedy Law Firm, a household name, welcoming us into their homes tonight. We are getting some great questions. You're eating dinner tonight, maybe you have a question for Kevin, feel free to go ahead and call in. We want to hear from you. Great job getting through
this tonight.
The
truth is, who gets to watch this? You're learning something. Tell it to your children. Tell it to your grandchildren. Tell it to your employees. I've always been a big proponent of education. The more we know, the more we grow. And if you shut your ears, I don't really want to hear that, put your head in the sand, then that's not the correct answer. You should always be asking, because people who really love their families, they are pursuing to protect them. And that's really what a lawyer, he stands in the gap. He can make a difference in your child going to the penitentiary, your son losing their home, your son losing custody, your son getting a big judgment against them with just a little knowledge. And you say, son, why didn't you do this? And if they're so hard-headed they won't listen to you, they might be so hard-headed they won't listen to me. And so then, you know, this world will teach you whether you listen or not. You will be taught the lesson.
That's right. Years of experience with tremendous respect behind it. We're going to have much more advice from this guy coming up. We're going to do a quick break, but keep it right here. We'll be right back.